So in my previous video, I touched on Kaisa Inn as the basis for CCSR. Of course, when I speak about Kaisa Inn, I cannot speak as I'm the sole owner of it. There is Danny, there's Rachel, and there's Kimber. There's the four of us. Those who follow my page know that about a year ago, maybe more, I can't remember exactly when, there was a huge verbal conflict between me and them. In private, I'm trying to get through to them about my perspective. But regardless, at the end of the day, we are siblings, and I'm sure we'll work it out. So now, what I'm going to do is proceed with something which, from my point of view, is the right way for all of us to go. Of course, they may disagree, but we have to be a democracy, and if it doesn't work out that way, I'm sure we'll find the right compromise. I'm confident because I know my siblings. I know what they're good at, and I know what's in their hearts. I know what they go for. So the conflict that we had was more a conflict of procedure. If you follow this video, you will see that I had said that I'd written to the Queen, regardless of the fact whether the Queen would answer me or not. That's because I know the importance of procedure. So when I apply that type of importance to process, and I don't see it being applied when it pertains to me or on a property that I am also a part of, then we have a conflict. And that's what that conflict was as far as I'm concerned. So whoever else has something else, we'll sort it out. Anyway, now that I've said that, let us now establish the basis as though we had agreed, okay? As though me, Rachel, Danny, and Kimber had agreed that this is the way forward, and Kimber's wife as well, that this is the way forward. Fine. The right way forward is to establish the registration of the place under the Ministry of Education, rather than the Ministry of Tourism. That's what I have to say. Because we are not the best in the field of tourism. If you look at our lodge and other lodges that are competitive in Malawi, come on, please. And even the project, it was a strange project that my parents would go into, hospitality. Hans and Joyce Anderson gone into hospitality. Since when? We are rural agriculturist project, soil conservation, farm input schemes, irrigation. That's who we are. Even here in Denmark, that's who we are. So it was a bit of like, okay. Anyway, the way Dad did the layout, you can see that, okay, it may be called accommodation, but it is very conducive to something else. You have the same type of model here in Denmark, which is set up by the very organization that had sent my dad in the first place to Africa, which is MS. They have a thing which is now in collaboration with a big organization from England, and you have a thing called Mellemrummet. You have a thing that's called, what's it called again? Global Hagen is a hostel that has accommodation, and at the same time it accommodates people like me and you who kind of like think about projects, and they're acting local, and they got platforms for making change across the world and in Africa as well. So Kaisa Inn is very much a mirror of what Global Hagen is. So I can see that relation in that sense, so there are many blocks for building the bridge between Denmark and Malawi, which has to be built, and it has to be built in that way because the work of Hans and Joyce Anderson has to be that way. But regardless of that, there is nothing that Hans Anderson could have done in Mchinji without consulting with Joyce Anderson, and without Joyce Anderson taking that issue to our chiefs, and all of that coming under our district assembly, which then comes under the government. That is how we do things. So at this point, we have to say, okay, I must now speak to the district assembly to say, I need the district assembly of Mchinji to back this idea. Obviously, me and my siblings have to sort things out. But now I'm speaking as though if we have sorted things out. I want to tell the ministry, no, the district assembly in Mchinji, okay? There are a few discrepancies, a few bridges we have to cross here, because Denmark left Malawi a long time ago, or they were kicked out, okay? So the embassy went down, the Germans took it over. But anyway, Again, put that aside. These are the things that we're battling with now because I've got all these things against me now. I would like to inform the District Assembly in Mchinji that the Foreign Minister of Denmark, when he's talking about his new initiative for Africa, has been under criticism for some projects that are EU based, okay, where Denmark has been one of the biggest contributors to it. I think last year or so they have given 417 million Danish kroner to projects which have been heavily criticized by independent auditors of the EU to say, look, these projects and where the money has gone to, it is not bearing the type of fruit that legitimizes this organization. Where have we heard this before? Thousands of times right across Africa. We've got 40, 50 years of that same story repeating itself everywhere. Why? Because of the constructs. This is why the construct I'm coming with is the one to follow, because we need to avoid spilling, overlapping, losing money. And then in Mchinji, you know that Madonna came there and she came and supported Mchinji Mission. Where's Mchinji Mission today? Non-existent. Where are all the people who came in the wake of the great Madonna coming to Malawi and Mchinji to stop an endemic problem? Some of them will know them by name because they stayed at Gaisa Inn, right? But where is it? Where's the legacy of Madonna coming to help Malawi out of poverty? It is there on stage with Madonna, dancing, David Banda. And good for him, good for him. But then I want to ask the Minister of Denmark, do you want to create more David Bandas? Is that the whole point? We still have our problems. We still have... I'm about to go into a long one about the problems that we have. I was going to go into fertilizer. But no, in Mchinji we have solutions to that one. I'll present that one later. I'm still dealing with the District Assembly. District Assembly of Mchinji. I have promised people on Facebook saying that I will raise $1 million before Christmas. I might not make it, but you can see that I'm working on it right now. If it's not before Christmas, it could be a week after Christmas, or it could be by January, or it could be February. It doesn't matter. The thing is, I'm saying, out of 418 wasted Danish kroner, don't you think I could secure $1 million for a project that we get together in Mchinji and look at the dynamics and the progress and the institutions and the individuals in our beautiful district, and say that the coordination of these projects in such and such a way makes this viable? Could we not put together a budget for salaries, for per diems, for whatever you call them? We have armies of people who know how that part works because they have experience of working with NGOs. We have hosted them at Gaisa Inn. And that's what my biggest frustration was at Gaisa Inn, to be hosting people who are working on projects who I know that this is not going to work out. I'm watching a failure here, and I'm watching so much money financing a failure here. At the same time, Gaisa Inn is also a failure. Sorry, my brothers and my sisters, you hate to hear that, but I'm telling you the truth. Gaisa Inn is not a success. And we need to make it a success. That's how we shall honor our mother and father. Brutal truth. And that's what I deal with. That's why I have enemies, because I deal with the truth in that sense. But we will get the right results because we have the right progress, the right focus. So, having said these things now, all of you are thinking, all of you know, all of you believe it. We have the radio station. We have many institutions in Mchinji, which I will not name at this point out of respect for them, because again, it's protocol. I can criticize Gaisa Inn. I'm not going to name others when I have not resolved my issues with my brothers and my sisters, because it will look as though I am bringing those people on board to make my argument against my brothers and my sisters stronger. And that is not the point. My brothers and my sisters don't get me because I am actually a chief and a king and they're supposed to approach me like a chief and a king and say, where is the protocol, and let's do it the right way. So the people who I could name who are making a serious change in Mchinji, who I really respect, I will not name them in this video because we have not cleared the peace between me, Rachel, Danny, and Kimber. That needs to be put in order first. However, you can all, Rachel, Danny, Kimber, my whole family can trust that I will follow a protocol which I know is responsible to any leader, any system, any community, any society in the world, because that is the way that we do things. Okay. So we as Kaisa in are under the district assembly. So I'm speaking as one of the children of the district assembly to the DC, you know, the courts, the police, the hospital, the schools, the radio station, and all the other organizations based in our district. Want to be a player with the rest of you on the same level that when Mr. Anderson came and we were the leading player. Back then when Kaisa Inn was the only place that had electricity. Do you remember those days? Remember the days when at Mazima era, Kaisa Inn was the only place with electricity and the rest, everybody was in the dark. Yeah, but now going to Mkomba, there's electricity. Now I've been away for 7 years, so I don't know, coming from Kaisa, between us and that field, maybe people built something right opposite us. There's a minister who started, you know, so Kaisa Inn has fallen back. You go into Mchinji. You know, there used to be like, what was it called? Don't let me name people. Just don't let me name people. I won't do that. Sorry. I'm looking forward to meeting you all. You know me, I'm Jimmy, the Rastaman. So it's all this Hakuduse. So the district assembly, let me just say that the district assembly, you will get a clear letter from me, which will outline what CCSR is going to do and how you'll be involved and the role that you're going to play. And I need you to back up what I'm saying now, because if you back up what I'm saying right now, we will have the right structure into which to put the $1 million. So we can create a budget together for all of us. All the ones who I didn't name, who have seen their great works in Mchinji, there needs to be a certain budget so that they can be more efficient in the things that they do. Okay? That's CCSR. Blessed love.